This is May 2015, paper 2, time zone 1, question 1, and it's a question about linear regression. We have data about the hours that a mother watches television and how many hours her child watches television. Before you go into this question, you're probably expecting that these two things will be quite strongly correlated. The more someone watches television, the more the kid will. Seems quite likely to me. The first thing we're asked to do is find the correlation coefficients, which you can do on your calculator. You can see I've typed the two sets of numbers into my calculator, into list 1 and list 2. Worth double checking that you've typed them in correctly, and definitely worth checking that you've got the same number of pieces of data in your two lists as you have in the table that you were given. So there are 7 pieces of data in the table, and there are 7 pieces of data in my list. In the stats menu underneath calc, you will find the linear regression option under number 4 here. AX plus B, which is the one that matches what's given in the question. So you need to go to that, choose the linear regression option, and it will do the correlation coefficient for you, which is called R. It will also give you the values of A and B that you need for part 2. If you don't get the value of R, it means the diagnostics aren't switched on your calculator, so make sure that your calculator has the diagnostics on. Once you've done that, this is the screen you will see, and you can write down the correlation coefficient, R, for part 1, 0.947, which means it's quite strongly correlated. And you can write down for part 2 the values of A and B. So A is 0.501 to 3 sig fig, and B is 0.804. Part B asks you to use that regression line. So we've got the equation Y, the number of hours that the child watches a day, is equal to AX, so 0.501 X, which is the number of hours that the mother watches a day. There's X, there's Y, plus B, 0.804. And all you have to do, well, there's lots of ways to do it using your calculator, but essentially what you're doing is you're just evaluating this equation for when X is equal to 3.7. If, when you do your linear regression, when you're in this menu, you press store the regression equation in Y1, then you don't have to type these numbers back in again, and you can use them as precise as the calculator has found them, rather than rounding them to 3 significant figures, which will obviously reduce the possibility of you getting a rounding error in your final answer. If you press store regression equation there, then what that does is it saves the equation in your graph menu. So you can bring the graph menu up, and you can't see most of it, but hidden in here, underneath, if you scroll across, you'll see is the whole AX plus B equation. And then you can use the graph function and just type in that I want to evaluate that when X is 3.7. So you can go into the graph menu, you choose calc, and select value, type in the number 3.7, and it will give you the Y value that corresponds to that, which is 2.66. Oh, give your answer to one decimal place, so 2.7. Says that there, that's one decimal place. 2.7 hours a day. That's a lot of television for a kid to watch, isn't it?